What's up guys, welcome back to the Leftlane channel, and we're here with another video, and today we're going to be matchmaking 3 fights in each division that need to happen. These are the fights that the fans want to see, these are the fights that must happen, and if they don't happen then we should riot the UFC and never watch it again, because these are the matchups that just need to occur. We need to see these. So we're going to start off, we're going to go from flyweight all the way to heavyweight, and I'm going to give my 3 picks on the fights that I want to see most. You guys can let me know in the comments if you agree or disagree, but let's get started. And we start off in the flyweight division. The first fight I've got here is Kai Kara-France versus Manel Kape. We all know why this needs to happen. It's for the beef. It would just be an amazing fight, and the build-up would actually be something that's rarely entertaining in the flyweight division. Normally, no one gives a fuck about flyweight fights, especially like flyweight contender fights if it's not for the belt. But with Kai Kara-France and Manel Kape, this would be a great fight. This is a fight that I think pretty much everyone wants to see. Manel Kape is booked to fight Mateusz Nicolau right now, so if he wins that, he might not fight Kai Kara-France, but this has got to happen eventually. These guys are both going to be sticking around in the division for a while, so I'm sure it'll happen at some point. Another fight. Sorry, I also just wanted to say, Manel Kape, because he's just so entertaining on the microphone, not only would this be a great stand-up fight and a good fight to watch, it would also just be a great build-up, as I said, but I want to know what other based statements Manel Kape's going to make. I want to know what other slurs that he's going to say, what other controversial things, going to come out of that guy's mouth, because he says some interesting stuff, and his Twitter is definitely something to look at if you haven't, if you don't follow him on Twitter. But another fight that we need to see in the flyweight division is Brandon Royval versus Manel Kape. So I'm kind of cheating here. I'm using Manel Kape twice. I couldn't think of another one if I'm being honest, but this would be an amazing fight, especially if Royval loses to Pantoja and Kape beats Nicolau. This is definitely one of the fights to make. I think it would be the fight to make, honestly. An amazing stand-up fight this would be. This would be fucking incredible on the feet. Fight of the night for sure. And the striking exchanges would be sick. If you watched Kape's fight recently at UFC 293, and if you watch any of Royval's fights, you know these two would put on an amazing scrap. And the final fight that we've got here is Amir Albazi versus Brandon Moreno. So unlike the other two, this one's not so much for the excitement. It probably wouldn't be a fight of the night barn burner, but it's just a clear fight that needs to happen. It's a clear contender fight. Amir Albazi needs to fight someone in the top 5. His only win right now is Kai Kara-France, so that's not good enough to get you a title shot, and that was a robbery as well, in my opinion. So Brandon Moreno, this guy's fought 7 times in a row and still hasn't fucking defended the title. He's allergic. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday, man, I promise I will defend the title. This guy, he actually cannot, he's fought the last 7 fights of his fucking career for the belt and he hasn't defended it. Actually crazy. But regardless, Brandon Moreno needs to fight down, obviously. He can't just keep getting unlimited title shots, and Amir Albazi needs to get a legitimate top 5 win. So it's a clear contender fight to make. Moreno makes everything fun, so even though Amir Albazi's boring and a rat, this would still probably be a pretty fun fight, and I want to see Amir Albazi lose, and I do think he would lose to Brandon Moreno. So, we move on to the bantamweight division, and the first fight I've got here is Corey Sandhagen versus Sean O'Malley. This is a fight that I think a lot of people want to see. This is a super intriguing, stylistic matchup. 2 of the longest guys in the bantamweight division. Pause. The longest reach guys, I should say. These tall, lanky strikers, throw kicks, throw good punches. The striking would just be sick to watch. Corey legit beat the guy that O'Malley's fighting. He beat Chito Vera, and now he's getting a title shot. So Corey deserves a title shot. He's coming off wins over Song Yadong, Chito Vera, and Rob Font. Even though Rob Font's fight wasn't entertaining, that's still 3 top 10 legit guys, top 7 legitimate fighters. And then even before that, close fight with Peter Yan for the interim title. And then before that, he got robbed against Dillashaw. So this guy's on a streak, and Corey Sandhagen definitely deserves a title shot. He shouldn't have to fight again. He should just get a title shot against the winner of Vera versus O'Malley. But he might get screwed over because they're probably going to end up doing this next fight, which I've got here, which is Merab Dvalishvili versus Henry Cejudo. Battle of the midget grapplers, This is a fight that's probably going to happen. It's kind of cheating, honestly, because it's basically already booked. But since it's not official, I'm allowed to make this fight. So fuck you. But yeah, it's basically confirmed, as I said. The winner would probably get a title shot after Sandhagen, I would like to say. But look, if it's Merab, they're going to be in no rush to give that guy a title shot. There's no way they're going to book Merab versus Sean O'Malley. If Corey Sandhagen or Chito Vera ends up getting the belt, they might book that. But there's absolutely no chance that they are going to book Merab versus O'Malley, because they don't want to see Merab win the title off Sean O'Malley by just holding him against the fence. So, if Merab beats Henry Cejudo in this soon-to-be-made fight, then he would probably have to wait a little bit. And I think Sandhagen said he's looking to get back in there around April. If he does want to fight again, he can probably fight like, I don't know, someone. Maybe like do Dominic Cruz. Even though Dominic Cruz doesn't deserve that fight, you could just do that as like a retirement for Cruz, maybe against a guy that looks up to Dominic Cruz. You know, Corey Sandhagen's always talked about how he idolizes Dominic Cruz, or he did. So you could do that fight if Corey really wants to get another one in there, but I think he could just wait out and fight sometime around July, August against the winner of Chito Vera versus Sean O'Malley. But, as I said, Merab versus Cejudo, winner of this can probably, if it's Cejudo, they might just book it straight away. It really depends on like the timeline of when guys are going to come back, but we'll see what happens with this. It's probably going to be made. So, that's a great fight that needs to happen. The last one I've got here is Peter Yan versus Song Yudong. This was already targeted for later this year, but Peter Yan pulled out because he got injured. This fight is just incredible. I want to see this fight. When it originally got booked or it got announced to be in the works, I was so excited. I wanted to see this. Like, to stand up in this fight would be, I'm going to use a really weird word here. The stand up would be stimulating. I'll be honest, like, pause. But you can't tell me I'm wrong. This fight would be so sick to watch. China versus China/Russia. I don't know what I'm going for with there. Guess Russia. You know, the forces that are the current two political forces in the world right now opposing the United States. But we'll see what happens here. I think this is a great fight. Song Yudong deserves to fight up. He was booked to fight Rob Font, but he did get injured, and now he's going to end up fighting Chris Gutierrez, who's ranked number 14. So he should mog Chris Gutierrez, and then he can fight Peter Yan, because he needs to keep fighting. He needs to fight down. He's on a bit of a rough streak. This is a winnable fight for him, but it's a really 50-50 matchup, and something that I definitely think we should be seeing. We move on to the featherweight division. I've got Yair Rodriguez versus Ilia Topuria as the first fight here. This would be an absolute banger. This is like a fight of the year type of matchup, potentially. Boxer versus kicker at the highest level. The stand-up in this would just be incredible. And then this could really happen like after Ilya, if he loses to Volk, and then Yair, you could just do it straight away. Maybe Yair fights Ortega in a rematch first, something like that. But whether it's for the belt or not, this fight needs to happen. You've got a Mexican, you've got you could say a former Mexican. No, he's Mexican. And then you've got a Spanish, Georgian, German, whatever the fuck Ilya is. He represents 14 countries. You could do this fight easily. Mexico, Spain, like the Latino market. Easy booking there. That would sell a lot of pay-per-views or tickets, whatever. But this would be an incredible fight because, like, Ilia Topuria, he got dropped by Jai Herbert, you know, with a head kick, so maybe he's got a bit of lack of defense for the kicks, and Yair is as quick as anyone, and then Ilia Topuria's boxing is about as good as you'll see in the featherweight division. So this is an incredible fight that I want to see. We move on to another fight. Kelvin Kattar versus Edson Barboza. Another similar sort of style matchup. Boxer versus kicker would be an incredible fight to make. I think it makes a lot of sense. Barboza, as a legend, you know, he's coming off some wins, deserves to fight up in the rankings. And then Kelvin Kattar coming off an injury, needs to get back in there against someone. Probably doesn't want to rush back into the top 5 of the division, but he could easily fight like a top 10 guy. Top 15 guy even. Barboza, I think, is ranked number 11, so you could easily book this fight. Would be a great matchup to make, and also like just fight of the night potential as well. These guys, Kattar's going to be just throwing hands non-stop. Barboza's going to be throwing fucking spinning kicks. Great fight to watch. And the last one I've got here is Diego Lopez versus Brian Ortega. This one, again, another fight that just needs to happen. Not right now, obviously. I'm not saying to book this next, but down the line, this has to happen. If Brian Ortega wants to get off his ass and fucking come back and fight, then that would be great, because this guy's taken 17 years off. I don't know what he's doing. But like Battle of Jiu-Jitsu, even the boxing in this would be pretty cool. Ortega's got some decent hands. Lopez looks pretty good on the feet. You know, Chad Emo Lopez versus the former Mexican that fumbled Cortez. It's a fight that people want to see. And yeah, I think this would be a great kind of change of the guard in like about a year and a half. when Lopez is looking to break into the top 5. Somehow Ortega's managed to hold on to his number 3 ranking. I don't know how. The last time that guy won a fight was before Donald Trump got kicked out of the White House. So that's fucking crazy from Ortega. I don't know what he's doing. How is he ranked number 3? But regardless, gone on a bit of a tangent there. We need to see this fight down the line. Would be sick to watch. We move on to the lightweight division. I've got 3 fights as well here. Bernard St. Denis versus Justin Gaethje is the first one. Again, just like with Lopez and Ortega, not right now, just down the line is a fight that needs to happen. I honestly think this could be a good retirement fight for Gaethje. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, he should be fighting a legend or something. Like, you don't need to do every single fighter retires against some other old guy. Like, that's not what needs to happen. And I don't see Gaethje falling out of the top 5 either. Like, I think Gaethje's still going to be top 5, but he's going to be like, yeah, fuck this, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to fight. He's probably going to lose for the title, probably going to fight Islam Makhachev at some point, lose, and then be like, alright, well, I'm done. Maybe I'll fight one more, and then I'll fight Bernard, or just after he loses for the belt, you might just do this fight. If Bernard can get in a fight against, like, Gamrot in the meantime, you can do that matchup real quick. So I think this will be a great retirement for Gaethje. It would be a fitting war to end his career. You don't want to give him fucking Gamrot or some bullshit like that. That's a bad ending for him, even if he wins. Like, you want to do a guy that's going to just have a scrap with him. You know, God of War versus the Highlight. Like, that just sells itself. And the striking would be pure violence. Bernard St. Denis has said himself, he's not going to go into this fight with the game plan of grappling. He just wants to crack on with Gaethje and test his chin. And I think down the line, obviously right now, if they booked this, Gaethje would win, but I could see 2 fights from now. I definitely could see Bernard winning this fight and breaking into the top 5. Another fight, Jalen Turner versus Drew Dober. Okay, so this one, a bit of a joke one, but still a fight that I think would be great to watch. Like, big dog, big bear Dober. You know, he's a big dog, big bear. He's a lion. He needs to finish his conquest of Africa, and the only way to do that is by beating Jalen Turner. You know, he's slayed McKinney, slayed Bobby Green, he's beat Terrence McKinney. I already said that, I'm dumb. Sorry, he beat Alves as well. Like, this guy loves a good scrap with a melanated man. So this is a fight that needs to happen. He's been calling him out for a hot minute. I love this with Dober, man. He's called out the only 2 guys he's called out. He either called out Jalen Turner for obvious reasons, you know, melanin, or he's called out Michael Chandler, you know, the only guy in the UFC to adopt black kids. So, Dober's clearly got his priorities in order. This will be a great fight, honestly. Even without the jokes, this is just a sick fight. Makes a lot of sense, you know. Dober, coming off a win, should probably be fighting up in the rankings. Turner's coming off that loss to Dan Hooker and a loss to Gamrot before that. So, Turner's on a 2-fight loss streak. Definitely needs to fight down. Dober's ranked number 15, so you can easily book this fight any day of the week, and we would all love to see it. Another fight, Michael Chandler versus Rafael Fiziev. This is a great matchup. Again, if Chandler sticks around after Conor, this would be a sick fight to make. This is not 100% realistic. Look, it could happen, but if Chandler just beats Conor or even fights him and goes, fuck this, I don't want to why am I fighting contenders? I've got money now. Then this might not happen, but Fiziev's probably on a time frame coming back end of 2024. Chandler's probably going to fight Conor in April, and then I'd say after that, maybe come back at the end of the year in December. So I think this will be a sick fight. Chandler versus Fiziev. Look at the 2 of them. Pure explosiveness. Fight of the night, fight of the year, potential even. And this would just be an amazing fight to see. But we move on to the welterweight division. We've got Leon Edwards versus Ian Gary. Again, down the line, a fight that just needs to happen. For the belt, UK versus Ireland, England versus Ireland, in the UK somewhere, in Ireland, wherever. This just sells. Like, there's a bit of beef here going on now since Ian Gary got himself kicked out of the gym. He's complaining that Leon's, like, nervous having him in the gym or doesn't want him around because he's scared of him. I personally think it's just Ian Gary's being a nuisance and they don't like him in the gym because he's a fucking idiot. But sick matchup. And we can finally find out what actually really went on in the training, because Paddy Pimblett, who doesn't even train with either of these guys, claimed that Leon knocked Gary out. Leon didn't even say that, and Gary said that was a lie, obviously. Well, Gary's not going to be like, yeah, you know, Leon knocked me out. Like, sit down, shut up, I just got knocked out by Leon Edwards. Like, he's not going to say that, so I don't know, we're never really going to know if that happened or not, unless Gary admits it himself, which I doubt, because that guy's an egotistical fuck. But down the line, need to see this happen. England versus Ireland. This is just the opportunity to attack the European market. Not in the Germany kind of way. But yeah, sick fight to make down the line. Of course, make it happen. Maybe after Gary, if Gary beats Luque, I imagine they would give him like a easy-ish top, like as easy as a top 5 opponent as you could. And then if Leon beats Colby, they probably do Bilal and just bite the bullet on that one, have a shit pay-per-view sale, know that Leon's going to beat Bilal, and then be like, okay, after this, like, do Leon versus Bilal in England. On the same card, you can do, like, Gary versus, like, maybe Bilal, Gary versus, what am I saying? I've just said do Leon versus Bilal, and then do Gary. Yes! I stick to that statement. You do Gary versus Bilal, and then you can go back out, and then you can fight Edwards, because we don't like Bilal. But who's in the top 5? Maybe like Wonderboy. There we go. If Wonderboy doesn't retire after he gets mogged by Shavkat, you can do Leon versus Bilal, and then do Gary versus Wonderboy co-main event 5 rounds as well in England, in Ireland, wherever. This would be sick. Next fight, Jack Della Maddalena versus Jeff Neal. Another banger. This is one that just should happen right now. This is like, if you look at the welterweight division, look at who's booked. So we got Colby versus Leon for the belt. We got Shavkat versus Wonderboy. We got Gastelum versus Brady. We got Luque versus Gary. We got Magny versus Mike Malott. For whatever reason. And then, like, who else is there for these guys to fight? Jack Della Maddalena just fought Holland. Jeff Neal just lost to Shavkat. He's fought a bunch of guys already in the top 10. So this is a fight that just needs to happen. Apex / actually not Apex. This fight's too good to be in the Apex. Do like an arena main event, or like a maybe in Australia or on the Volkanovski card as a feature fight 3-rounder. You could do this. Probably the 2 best boxers, like pure boxers at 170. You guys let me know who's a better pure boxer than both Della and Jeff Neal. Like, I guess you could say Usman got good boxing, but the guys don't rely on it the most, I think, would be these 2. Fight our main event, as I said, 5 rounds. Fight of the year candidate will ensue. You're welcome. Shavkat Rakhmonov versus Kamaru Usman / Bilal Muhammad, a fight that needs to happen. Either one of them. Look, so if it's Usman, just to continue the meme of Shavkat beating up black people, his last 3 fights, Carlston Harris, Neil Magny, Jeff Neal, Kamaru Usman, and then Leon Edwards is next. He's completing the conquest. He's doing some Doba motivational videos, If it's Bilal, then just make this fight to spite Bilal and not give him a title shot, and then he can finally lose. Because if Shavkat beats Wonderboy, I love Wonderboy, great fighter, but probably doesn't earn you a title shot. Look, it could. They might just do Shavkat versus Leon straight away if they just don't want to give Bilal a shot. But I say, if you want him to fight one more time, you could do him versus either of these 2 guys, depending on if Usman wants to come back to 170. And either way, it's not Usman's number 1 contender, Bilal's number 2. Then he can get a title shot if they don't just give him one after beating Wonderboy. But we move on to the middleweight division. Dricus du Plessis versus Israel Adesanya. You already know this one's on the list. It's the battle for Africa. In Africa, doing the whole thing, rumble in the jungle, rumble in the desert, rumble in the coal mines. Fucking hell. But it would be an amazing fight. I'd like to see Izzy get chinned, which is a potential for happen in this matchup. For the belt or not, doesn't matter. It would just be a sick fight. 5 rounds, have to main event this somewhere. Sick fight. Don't really need to explain. Du Plessis can finally claim his rightful ownership of Africa, the real African fighter. Look at Israel. He's clearly Chinese. But we move on to another fight. Sean Strickland versus Khamzat Chimaev. So, not for next, or not for the title right now, but this is a fight that needs to happen. Khamzat can literally fight anyone ranked above him at 185, and then bam, you can get a title shot. It doesn't even matter. Fight the number 8 guy, fight Brendan Allen, and then I don't care, have a title shot, just because of the star power. But you just can't get a title shot right now off beating Usman, who's not even ranked. So, this can happen once Khamzat beats someone. If Strickland beats du Plessis, then he could probably fight Khamzat, because who else would he fight after this? If Strickland beats du Plessis, I'm trying to think. Cannon is injured. Whitaker's not going to get a shot. Izzy probably wouldn't. I'm trying to think anyone else. Vittori, no. All these guys, nah. So yeah, Khamzat, just give Khamzat versus like Costa at some point. or Hamzat versus like Allen, Hamzat versus Vettori, anyone, and then after he beats them, then you do this fight for the belt. Sometime maybe like August, September maybe. Bring it back to Australia, bring Sean Strickland back down under. This is actually a super intriguing style matchup as well. And I just want to see Strickland beat Hamzat and break him and TKO him, because obviously we all know Hamzat's going to get him down early in the first round. That's what he does to everyone. But I rate Strickland's chances to survive the first round, and I think he might just beat him up on the feet afterwards. Because Hamzat, tell me if I'm wrong, guys, but right now in his career, it just seems like, obviously he's motivated, he's dedicated to the sport, but it doesn't seem like he's got the same hunger anymore. Like, he's probably cashed a few big paychecks already, not even for the belt, and he's like, well, why the fuck would I fight the best guys? I can just fight Paulo Costa or Kamaru Usman on short notice and get or Kevin Holland and shit, or Nate Diaz. Like, these are the fights that he's been getting given recently, and he's probably making upwards of like $600,000-$700,000 a fight. So Hamzat, I don't know if he's really into it right now. Like, he didn't even call for a title shot. Like, normally Hamzat's like, I kill everybody, smash everybody, smash my brother, smash my sister. That's the dialogue you're getting from Hamzat normally, but he just doesn't seem like he's that into it anymore. So I don't know, but still, I think Strickland wins this fight, but it would be great to see. And the trash talk would be great too. Next fight, and the final fight at middleweight, is Paulo Costa versus Jared Cannonier. This is just a fun fight. This is a banger. You could do this as a main event anywhere. Not Apex, you wouldn't do this. Like, arena main event. You could do this pay-per-view feature fight, pay-per-view co-main even, on like a weaker pay-per-view. Or if it's got a good main event, you could do this fight. What else do we have here? Like, I would have done Costa versus Ikram, but just to spite Costa, but I know Costa's a bitch, so he's not going to accept a fight down in the rankings, even though this guy hasn't actually, his last win was Luke Rockhold, and then before that he lost to Marvin Vettori, mediocre Marvin, as Lucas Tracy would say, and then before that, lost to Izzy, I'm pretty sure. Am I wrong? Did I miss one? No. He's 1 and 2 in his last 3, fights once a year, isn't going to get booked for 2023, so this guy is just ducking everyone, skipping out on fights. But if you give him a top 5 guy, he would probably accept it. So I'd say maybe do Cannonier. This would be a fun fight. Cannonier would definitely whoop his ass, and that is why I've booked this. But we move on to the light heavyweight division. Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira. This is just, it's kind of cheating, honestly. It's like, it's a fight that's just going to happen, but we need to see it. The title of this video is the fights that need to happen in each division. So this is the fight that needs to happen at light heavyweight. Clear fight to make for the title. The striking would be crazy, and we get to find out, will Poatan get the revenge, or does Jamal Hill have custody over Brazil? Because, this guy is running off wins over Glover, Thiago Santos, and Johnny Walker, in his last 3. So this guy is the Brazilian slayer, if you will. So could he beat Pereira? Maybe. But the boxing, compared to the kickboxing of Pereira, would be sick. Incredible fight. We all want to see it. But another fight, Yuri Prochazka versus Johnny Walker. I don't know anyone who would say no to this fight. This would just be wild as shit. Samurai versus Caveman, 2 guys that are fucking stuck in like past generations. And I'm pretty sure the odds on this fight to end by spinning elbow or flying knee will probably open at around minus 850. That would be the favoured method of victory for either guy. Look at this image I've got here. You got Johnny Walker looking like an absolute burns victim, and then you've got Yuri Prochazka throwing a spinning elbow. That's probably the image we're going to end up seeing. We're going to see Yuri Prochazka throw a spinning elbow at the unconscious corpse of Johnny Walker. He's playing corpse guard, but you already know. Anyway, that's a sick fight. Wild as shit. Again, Brazil main event, maybe any Europe main event either. This is a fight night main event, surely. Maybe chuck it on pay-per-view, but I want to see these guys. It wouldn't go 5 rounds, but you might as well book it for 5. And the last fight I have at light heavyweight is Anthony Smith versus Khalil Roundtree. Okay, look, this one is not like it needs to happen, but I'm just a mean guy, so I'm booking this one. Roundtree's probably going to stomp his knees out. But on paper, Smith wins if Roundtree can't throw strikes. That Smith actually told me that. I said to him, what would you think about a fight with Khalil Roundtree? He's like, on paper, if he can't throw punches, I beat him. On paper, if he can't throw any strikes. On paper, if he pulls guard all night long, I beat him. So Smith knows what's up. He beats Khalil Roundtree on an A4 piece of paper. But Khalil would probably fucking kick him in the body as he's getting up from a takedown. So Khalil beats him up, and that's what I want to see. But we move on to the heavyweight division. We got John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. Again, sort of cheating, but it fits with the title of this video. It's a fight that just needs to happen. Who doesn't want to see Ciryl Gane fight not John Jones? I don't know where I was going with that. Why have I brought up Ciryl Gane? Who doesn't want to see John Jones fight Tom Aspinall? I'm actually retarded. Who doesn't want to see Ciryl Gane? What am I saying? I'm so dumb. Who doesn't want to see Tom Aspinall fight John Jones? This is a sick fight, super intriguing. This basically is the only way that John Jones is allowed to retire. If he fights anyone else, it's fake legacy. We should all boycott the UFC. If this fight doesn't happen, he's going to fight Stipe and retire because he's a bitch, and he only accepts fights with people that have the striking of his wife. So he's going to beat Stipe, and it's going to be dead, and we're not going to learn anything from it. And then Aspinall's going to just get promoted. It's going to be anticlimactic. We're not going to see an actual title-winning performance. Like, obviously, he won the interim title, but we're not going to see the real one. But this is what we want to see. We can all dream about it. Hopefully, Tom does John Jones like Jones did that pregnant woman, you know, just run through him with his vehicle. But yeah, this is a great fight. Needs to happen for the belt, obviously. I wish Stipe fight wasn't happening, but let's be real, it's going to. We move on to the next fight, Sergey Pavlovich versus Ciryl Gane. This is why I mentioned Ciryl Gane. I saw him on the screen, you know, he's in the middle of the screen, and I just saw him, and I said his name accidentally. But this is a striker's delight, an incredible fight to make. Power versus speed, you could kind of sell that narrative. This would be a great main event for Paris, maybe even Moscow, you know, maybe even Kiev. They could do this one. No, but this would be a great Paris main event instead of just Gane fighting fat heavyweights. Great fight to make this would be. Super intriguing. I want to see Pavlovich win, but I would be worried that Gane just dances around him. But I don't know. Let me know. Does Gane finish Pavlovich, or does he just do what he was doing against Ngannou for the first like 2 rounds and just kind of dance around him and avoid damage? Because if it gets into a scrap, Pavlovich can definitely catch him with a shot, because we saw Tai Tuivasa put down Ciryl Gane. But I don't know if he wins this. It would be a great fight, though. Super competitive. Number 1 versus 2 if you exclude Tom Aspinall as an interim champion. So, great fight to make. And the last one I have here is Derek Lewis versus Jairzinho Rozenstruik. You know, it's the battle of the Almeida victims. It's the battle of the fat men. It's the battle of the KFC line. Who's going to get there first? Who's going to order the chicken first? You know, that's definitely racist. But someone's going to go to sleep. This is just a banger. Not like title contention fight or anything like that. Just a fight that somehow hasn't happened yet. Both these guys just been knocking fools out, and one of them is going to knock the other fool out. So someone's going to win, and someone's balls are going to be hotter than the others. But that's the video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you made it this far, I kind of rambled on a little bit at times. I go on some tangents occasionally. But yeah, subscribe. Otherwise, you have to listen to Ian Gary talk for 5 hours. Like, otherwise, John Jones is going to eye poke you. Comment, otherwise, Tom Aspinall is going to finger you. Share, otherwise, you have to fight Anthony Smith on paper. Follow my Instagram, Leftlane MMA. Otherwise, Marab will knee your thigh for 25 minutes. Thanks for watching, guys. Subscribe. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one.